Golfers, welcome back to the channel. Recently, we had a tournament in Zala Springs where we had over 100 players. I was able to spot some of them when they were playing, and I put together a list of 3 distance killers that were most common among them. Before we start with the list, I just want to let you know that SkyTrack is up and running and is going to track all the golf balls that I'm hitting, so you're going to be able to see how far they are actually going. Now, first on our list is going to be restricted trail hip movement during the backswing. When this happens, most of the people cannot turn. So I try to keep my hips as straight as possible and just turn my chest. But you can see that I can't really make a long backswing here. But all those players, they were still trying to make a long backswing by lifting or bending the lead arm. So they were going in the backswing in such a way that hips are forward, hips are forward, hips are forward. They can't turn with the chest anymore. So what they're gonna do? They're gonna lift the arms and the lead arm is going to collapse. And in this way, indeed, they reached to a position where the club looks like it got really far away. But from here, they cannot initiate the downswing with their hips. And what they're going to do, they're just going to pull the club down, it's going to come over across the ball, and they're going to hit slices, and because the correct kinematic sequence is not there, they are not going to be able to strike the ball and create speed. So instead of trying to keep that trail hip pointing forward in the backswing, I want you to let it free. So I just want you to focus on turning the chest, and the hips are going to follow. In this way, you're going to enable yourself to have a really good turn in the backswing, creating the length that you need, and then you're going to be able to fire the hips and really hit the ball with some more speed and with a more consistent swing. So instead of going in the backswing like this, we want you to go in the backswing by freeing up the trail hip. So that backswing is going to look like that. So you see that I still maintain my posture over the ball. My arms are pushing away from me, so I still have the unit that I created at the beginning of the swing. And from here, I'm able to fire the hips, shallow the club, and then hit really fast through the golf ball. Now I'm going to hit 2 shots. The first one is going to be when I restrict the trail hip, and the second one when I try a really good turn, both with the hips and the chest. So let's see how far this shot is going to go. Okay, I managed to strike it. Good strike. Let's see how far it goes. So it's gonna go roughly 127 meters. Now let's try to make a really good turn in the backswing. Let that trail hip to follow the chest, and let's see how far we can actually hit this ball. It's already much better strike. It felt a lot quicker as well, but let's see how far this ball actually is gonna go. So you can see that it already carried the previous shot. So it was longer by just a few meters, but those meters are going to be really important. So the first one flew 127, the second one flew 134 meters as a carry. Now, the second shot is going to be more consistent over and over again. So probably I'm going to see this club flying around 135 meters more often. The first swing probably is going to have 127, probably is going to hit one really good, 135, but then he's going to have those short ones that are not going to reach not even 120 meters. Now, let's move into the second bad habit and let's see how we can sort that as well. The second element on my list is the grip. I was seeing too many players gripping the club with the lead arm in the palm, and then the trail arm was again running through the palm. This is gonna cause 2 things with the club. One is gonna, even if you grip it square, let's say, if it's in the palm, during the backswing, it's gonna be really easy to open it up, mostly during the takeaway. Now, by having an open club face, you're gonna also cup the wrist as well. That's what they were doing most of the time, to get that extra length of the backswing, which for them, in the way the hands are placed on the club, is not going to enable them to create the speed that they wanted. So gripping in the palms is not really helping us to really get any speed during the swing. Now let's see how far a shot with this grip is going to look like, and then how far a shot would go when I actually grip it through the fingers. So let's see, through the palm, through the palm. Now let's see a swing. Okay, so I managed to strike it. Let's see how far it's going to go. It goes a bit right because I wasn't able to square the club face, and I also opened the club face throughout the backswing. So it flew 114 meters. Now let's see a shot when I'm actually going to focus to grip the club through the fingers. So the grip should run through the base of the finger all the way to the middle of the index finger. Now I'm going to grip with the fingers, and the palm is going to cover the club. Same on the right hand side. Grip through the fingers and grip with the fingers. Lead thumb is going to be covered by the trail palm. So they are going to look like one when you actually hold the club. Now, let's see how this is going to look like as a shot, and if you can get it further than the first one. Strike was much better. I was able to square the club face, probably a bit too much, it was close already. But again, you see that the shot flew a lot further than the previous one. Let's move on into our last point of this video. The last element on my list was the forward bend during the backswing. So what I mean by that is this. When you get the setup at the golf ball, your chest is at an angle with the ground. So let's say, for example, now it's at more or less 45 degrees, but it's going to vary depending on player. How those players were going the backswing, they were keeping that forward bend for way too long. So you can see now that I increased the angle a little bit, and my chest is closer to the golf ball as well. Now, when that happens, when this backswing tends to happen, you can see that the club is already across the line at the top of the backswing. And the only way to hit the golf ball from here, it's again, starting the move with the shoulders. And in this way, we can't create any power. So I'm gonna start with the shoulders. The club is thrown over the plane, is gonna slice the golf ball. And in this way, I'm gonna also have this kind of motion that it's up and down. So the striking is not gonna be reliable. And also because of this, the speed is going to drop a lot because you just try to make contact with the ball then. Instead of increasing this angle during the backswing, going like this, I want you to feel that as you go in the backswing, your chest is pointing, let's say, to the sky on your backside, on your right side. And in this way, you actually created, or you put yourself in a position from where your hips can actually start the swing, not your hands need to do anything. So the hips are gonna fire really quick, and you're also gonna hit the ball with more speed and a lot more precision. I want you to feel like your chest goes to the sky, hit the ball, your chest goes to the sky. In this way, we're gonna avoid that excessive forward bend during the backswing. So let's see a swing where I'm gonna increase that forward bend. Let's see how far this shot is going to go. Okay, as you could see, I couldn't even strike the ball so good. And SkyTrack says that the ball flew about 16 meters. And that's mainly because of the strike. I hit it too far behind the golf ball. Now, let's not try to do that forward bend or excessive forward bend. Let's just try to feel that the chest goes chest to the sky, and let's see how far and how good I can strike that shot. So you could already see that the strike was already much better. I could manage to actually strike it really good. And again, for an 8-iron, I was hitting the ball 127 meters. So that would be the last element on my list. Of course, you could find a lot more distance killers in the golf swing, but these three were the most common during this event. If you found this video useful, let me know in the comment box below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next week at the Solution Golf.